Okay, so I need to probably hide some of this existing stuff here and recreate it. So I'm going to go to a masking region. So if you go up to region, click the down arrow, and you want a masking region. You want to create that masking region with invisible lines. So if it didn't default to invisible lines, you can go find invisible lines in the line styles. And then we can just use probably a rectangle here to hide some of this information in this space right here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to finish it, and it hides the stuff within that space. This line here was a line that I drew in, so that I can move. Now I can work within this space and draw in what I want. Okay, so I'm going to go and draw a detail line from here now up to here. That's where this stairway is going to end, on the bottom. And I have to create a hanger, right? So I'm going to put on a 3/4 inch plywood hanger. So I'm going to copy that line over 3/4 inch. Okay. Then I can draw this line back to that. Draw a line from here to here. I can draw a line from so I can start filling in some of that detail. I also need to put a header here, which is going to be a double 2x10 then. So I can go to components up here, a detail component. Oops, no, cancel. And I can find a 2x10 under detail components. I can bring that in and I can place that there. If it's a double, I've had trouble putting a double right against it, so I'll put it over here. I need one over here, and I'm going to again just stick it here, and then I'll move it later, and I'll show you why. So I can come back here. Once I've put it there, then if you have trouble getting it right against it, you can move it and get it in there later. So that's pretty well complete there now. Over here, again, I have this sheathing line coming through the framing here. I don't think I can join geometry here of this to, no, I can't join the geometry. But if I want to get rid of that line, I can go back to a masking region using invisible lines again. I can come in here and hide that line, right? I can make it disappear that way. Then I can take this and move it into that position. Okay, so that's kind of how you might create that point at the landing. The surface of the landing here is, we need to find out what that is probably. Let's go look at the, edit the type, and it might be 1 inch. Yeah, it's 1 inch. Okay, because the treads are 1 inch, that is 1 inch. Okay, and we can call that out. That's fine at this point. Typically, that would be probably 3/4 inch plywood on that landing. In our apartment building, we put the 3/4 inch subfloor, and then we put 1 inch of gypcrete for sound control and fireproofing, right? In the landing, we don't need the fireproofing or the sound control on this landing, so it would just be the 3/4 inch material there. Okay, so then we get up to, let's just go down to the bottom here. At the base of this stairway, we should put in a 2x4 kick plate that notches into the stringer. So again, I can go to components, I can go find a 2x4 and bring over. When it comes in standing up. If you hit the space bar, you can flip it. Put it in there. Now we need to go up here and we need to detail this out a little bit. Okay, so let's find out what the distance is between the stringer here and the end of our truss. And so I'm going to put a dimension on there. And it's an odd dimension of 1 and 25/32. So again, we probably have to put a masking region in here and hide some stuff and then fix this area up. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go back and reestablish my headroom height here. I think I messed up something. So I'm going to, from here, okay. So I want to make sure I don't get anything below that line as I'm detailing this section out right here. Okay, so I'm going to go in and create another masking region using invisible lines. And I'll probably use a rectangle again. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to hide some of this stuff. Okay, so I just kind of took out some stuff that didn't look like it was right for me there. And at this point, I need to put in that microlam beam. And the nice thing about using microlam beams with trusses is they make microlam beams in heights that are similar to floor trusses, right? You can, in this case, our floor trusses, I believe, were 18 inches deep. You can get an 18-inch deep microlam. Okay, so a microlam is 1 3/4 inches wide by, in this case, 18 inches tall. So I'm just going to go to a detail line, use the rectangle command again, and pull out, and I'm just going to pull it out bigger than I need it. So this is my microlam. If I click on that, I can change that dimension to 1 3/4. Most of the time on creating that rectangle, it's easier just to make a shape and then change the dimensions on it than it is to try pull it to the exact dimensions. Okay, so that's my microlam. Detail line from here over there. Detail line from here up to here. I needed that 3/4 inch hanger board in there, didn't I? I forgot to put that in. So let's move this 3/4 inch. Okay, and now I got room to put in that hanger board. I can just draw a line from here down to here. And now I've got that hanger board in there. Okay. Okay. Up here as well, we've got an issue. We don't have a nosing on the top. The Revit stairway that it puts in doesn't know what your top surface is going to be, so it puts in it leaves just the riser, and you have to put your own nosing or whatever on top of the stairway. So again, another masking region. I'm going to mask out this area a little bit. And now I can use some line work. And this is something you need to kind of think about. The underlayment on the second floor is gypcrete. Is that correct? Gypcrete is a liquid when they put it in. Is that right? If we don't have something to stop that liquid, where's it going to go? It's going to run down the stairway, right? So we need to put a bulkhead there to stop the gypcrete from running down the stairwell, and that bulkhead is the nosing. So the nosing is a wood nosing. The gypcrete pours up against the wood nosing. So in this case, I'll go and do some line work here and create a line that comes over to this point here. Do another line here out here. And then I'll create the nosing on the end of that by using detail line work again. This time I'm going to use an arc, start end radius, and I've created that nosing. Okay, so that nosing is just basically a tread material that they've cut down to, rather than having 11-inch tread, they've put a smaller one up here to create that bulkhead for that stairway nosing. And the gypcrete pours up against it. Make sense? Somewhat? Okay. Okay, the other thing I need to do is bring in that truss material that I don't have, the webbing and the bottom and top cords that I don't have here. If I go back now and open up my section, and I'm going to need something like this, right? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click on some of these things, hold the control key down. I'm going to need some of this stuff, right? Okay, some of this got messed up for me here a little bit on this section. I'll have to do some adjusting to it because it isn't quite right. But I can still copy it over. Okay, and I'm going to copy that to a clipboard. I'm going to close. We'll go back to my stair section. And I'm going to paste. I have to go to Modify, Paste from Clipboard. Though. This time just from Clipboard. You're not going to paste the line because you're not aligned where it was on the other plan. So I'm going to paste it from a clipboard. I'm going to bring it in here and I'm just going to set it here. And then I'm going to move it into position from there to there. Okay, and it isn't quite right, so I'll Okay, so I've brought that in. I need to do some more line work. Go to Annotation, Detail Lines. I need to bring this line across to here. we have to put some sheetrock on the end to hide some of this probably. Actually not, because under this stairwell we put a wall down here that hides the underside of that stairwell, right? So in this case we don't need to show that probably. But if we did, let's just say we did, so I'm going to take this and just offset it 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so that just brings the sheetrock over and caps that off. Now I can take this line here and I can move it from here to that corner, and that's actually where my headroom is. Now I can put a dimension on. I'm going to offset this line 6'8". Okay, so that is 6'8" between there.